So I'm going to call this part of the meeting to order. No amendments to the agenda have been identified, and therefore the agenda will stand as circulated. Confirmation of the synopsis of minutes of the 131st Annual General Meeting held on June 16th, 2021. I will now ask if there have been any errors or omissions identified. We'll pause for a minute to allow anyone to come forward. Please approach the microphone if you wish to respond, or if you are joining us virtually, please use the Ask a Question function on your platform. The next slide is confirmation of the synopsis of the minutes motion. Motion number 1, acceptance of the synopsis of the minutes of the 131st meeting of the members. Be it moved that the synopsis of the minutes of the 131st meeting held on June 16th be accepted as circulated. Seeing no corrections identified, I will move forward with the motion and the voting. For the purposes of efficiency, we've arranged for movers and seconders in advance of the AGM. And so this particular motion, our first motion, Kathleen Curtin of Toronto has agreed to move the motion to accept the synopsis as circulated, a copy of which was sent to all members on April 14th, 2022. And OAA member, Michelle or Mitchell? I'm sorry, Mitchell Lester of Stratford, my apologies if I've pronounced your name incorrectly, has seconded the motion. The motion appears on the screen as noted by Christy at the outset of the meeting. Voting will be electronic via the voting website that everyone has been provided access to, or if you are unable to do that, you will have a yellow voting card. Votes are to be cast by licensed members in good standing. I will now ask members to vote. Please cast your vote. We will pause. It's going to be about a minute to allow the time for all the votes to be cast. If you have a voting card, please raise it. We'll be pausing until everybody votes virtually. If the vote is close, those in favor and those against, we'll ask for a showing of cards against to make sure that we've got the right number. So this vote has been successfully completed and the motion has passed. So if we could have the next slide up, please. The next item is business arising from the minutes. And is there any other business arising from the minutes of the June 2021? We will pause for a few moments to allow for questions to be entered into Ask a Question function, or if you are in the audience, please approach your microphone. Are we okay? Okay. So thank you. I will move on to the next item of business. So the next slide is the approval of amendment of OAA bylaws, Schedule A, which should be up on the slide, please. So OAA bylaw revised 2017 Schedule A, in accordance with the Architects Act, bylaws made by Council are subject to confirmation at the next annual general meeting of the members. Paul Gauguin of Toronto has moved the motion, and Melissa Audette of Toronto has seconded the motion to approve the amendments to Schedule A of the OAA bylaws. To summarize the changes, a 3.7% increase in fees has been implemented to reflect the increase in cost of living. You may recall that there was no fee increase in 2021, but on January 20th, Council approved a further procedural amendment to Schedule A to incorporate fees for enrollment in the OAA technology program. The motion should appear on the screen. Be it moved that amendments to the OAA bylaws as circulated with the agenda for this meeting be confirmed by the membership. I will now ask for all members to vote. Please cast your vote, show your vote, do it electronically, and this will take a minute. The next item is the appointment of an auditor, because that's what came up virtually. We're going to vote on that. OAA member Megan Torres of Toronto has moved the motion, and Christian Cote Menard of Oshawa has seconded the motion to appoint Graham Thornton LPP as our auditors for the OAA. So, people in person, please vote. So we okay? Good. The motion has passed. Thank you very much. Next slide that we're going to vote on is honorary membership. Honorary members are a class of persons whose interests are related to those of the association as defined in Regulation 27 under the Architects Act. So these are people who have rendered, well, this is a quote actually, persons who have rendered to the architectural professional signal or valuable service, or who have scrupulously upheld the objects of the association. So this year, the following individuals have been nominated for honorary membership: the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdswell and Elsa Lamb. The names of these individuals were contained in the official agenda that was emailed to all members on April 14th, 2022. I would like to recognize OAA past President Tone Dressen, who has been kind enough to share his nomination for the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdswell, and move a motion to elect her as an honorary member in the following pre-recorded message.
The Honourable Elizabeth Dowdswell be recognized as an honorary member of the Ontario Association of Architects. Over her career in education, culture, and leadership, she has served the public interest and been a tireless promoter of the work of Ontario residents. Her Honour has served as the Lieutenant Governor of Ontario since 2014, and since 2015 has lent specific support to Ontario architects with granting that the best Ontario architecture be graced with the Lieutenant Governor Award in Architecture. Her dedication to the work of Ontario architects on a provincial, national, and international stage has helped elevate the status of OAA members and their work. Her Honour exemplifies the ideals of public service and advocacy for the profession, and deserves the title of Honorary OAA Member as credibility for her ongoing role as an advocate promoting the role of architecture in society.
Thank you, Tone. Virtually, OAA member Carl Nipfel, Toronto, has seconded the motion. So the slide should come up now. Motion number 4, election of the honorary member Elizabeth Dowdswell. Be it moved that the Honourable Elizabeth Dowdswell be elected honorary member of the Ontario Association of Architects. Please, members, all vote. Cast your vote. And on comes the music.
Obviously, we're having some issues with the voting. I think what we'll do, obviously, we're taking the record of votes here now for anybody that's voting with a voting card, and I'm hoping most people are now voting with a voting card. In terms of the online voting, if there's anybody remote that's joined remotely that is not able to vote, or the app is not working properly, we can actually, for the record of the meeting, we will consider the motions passed, but there's a reconciliation that will take place in terms of looking at the voting after the fact in the instance that we think that the vote may change because of the number of people that may or may not be able to vote.
These are people who are very near and dear to us in the profession. So I'm going to move forward now on the next motion. I would like to recognize OAA member Betsy Williamson, who has kindly pre-recorded a nomination for Elsa Lamb, and to make a motion to elect her as an honorary member. So could we please have that?
Elsa Lamb has demonstrated exceptional leadership by communicating and advocating for architecture to broad and specialized audiences. Since 2012, she has been the editor of Canadian Architect, Canada's national magazine for architecture and design. In this role, Elsa has used her influence to support both provincial and national architecture-related matters. Examples include writing an op-ed in the National Post, speaking on radio talk shows such as CBC's Ideas and The Current, and being interviewed in the press on a range of architectural issues. In her editorial work for Canadian Architect, she has brought a strong sustainability and equity and inclusion lens to the magazine's content. She is an active volunteer with industry organizations, including Building Equality in Architecture Toronto and the Royal Architecture Institute of Canada. She received her PhD from Columbia University for her dissertation, Wilderness Nation, Building Canada's Railway Landscapes, 1885 through 1929, under the supervision of Kenneth Frampton. She has authored numerous articles on architecture and architectural history for academic journals and architecture magazines. Elsa has coordinated exhibitions at the Canadian Centre for Architecture in Montreal and the Arthur Ross Architecture Gallery at Columbia University. She has appeared on design and academic juries and has been a guest speaker and reviewer at several architecture schools across Canada. She is currently an adjunct faculty member at her alma mater, the University of Waterloo School of Architecture, as well as at Metropolitan Toronto University. Elsa has received awards and grants for her research from the Canada Council, Society for the Study of Architecture in Canada, Dumbarton Oaks, and the Canadian Centre for Architecture. She recently co-edited with Graham Livesey the book Canadian Modern Architecture, a 50-year retrospective, 1967 through 2017, published by Princeton Architectural Press.
Thank you, Betsy. I understand that the motion has also been seconded by Heather Doubledam, Toronto. So please, be it moved that Lisa Lamb be elected honorary member of the Ontario Association of Architects. All members who are eligible to vote, please do so with a show of cards. Great. That's everybody. Wonderful. We don't need to play any music in between the votes now.